Dale Shaw, right? Dale? That's it. Yeah, go for it. Multifaceted, outspoken, and never afraid to wrinkle a fender. It's good for business. Dale Shaw is an elite talent in the Northeast. He is known and admired for his skills as a driver, as a fabricator, as a crew chief, winning at every level in New England motorsports in all of his chosen disciplines. Most importantly, he's always had the ability to get a reaction out of people, sometimes a boo, sometimes a head scratch, almost always a laugh. He did the talking when he needed to, but he often let his work do it for him. His driving talents, his desire to keep up with, innovate the latest chassis technology, and his sometimes controversial on-track style led to opportunities in all types of race cars in many different series, which makes following his career path often hard to predict. He spent time in NASCAR's National Busch or Xfinity Series, the Busch North Series, Tom Curley's NASCAR North Tour, and the American Canadian Tour's Pro Stock and Late Model divisions, Tom Mayberry's Pro All-Star Series, Super Late Models, and Modifieds, all while racing as often as possible at weekly tracks and building a countless, and I mean countless, fleet of wildly successful customer cars in various divisions. One of the first cars that he built was back in 1980, an Oxford Street Stock. Brian Brooks drove that one to the track championship, and the reason why Brian was the driver and not Dale is because Dale was only 15 years old. That car was a track champion. He started racing the next season, though, and quickly moved through the street stocks and the famous six-cylinder Charger class at Oxford, winning frequently along the way. He also picked up a street stock win at Hudson, of all places, during that time. Only 4 years after turning his first wheel, Dale went touring, and he earned a win on the American Canadian Tour at Oxford. He also flipped a car in practice at Catamount and ran the feature with it later that night. He went full-time on the new NASCAR Busch North Series in '87, and in a 4-week stretch, get this, he won a late model feature at Oxford, his first Busch North win at Holland, New York, near Buffalo, and then came back to Oxford to win yet another Busch North race. Fast forward a couple of decades, and his 19 career Busch North wins still rank 4th all-time, even as that division is now called ARCA East or whatever the hell they think it is. His wins came at 11 tracks in 8 different states, in Maine at Beech Ridge and Oxford, in New York at Holland, in Pennsylvania at Jennerstown Speedway, at Seekonk, Mass., at Stafford, Connecticut, at Thunder Road up in Vermont, on the Monster Mile at Dover, Delaware, and in his home state of New Hampshire on the bull rings at Lee and Monadnock and the mile at Loudon, where he was also a 2-time track champion. He won the 1994 Busch North Championship despite a winless season aboard Quint Boivier's famous number 7 Skull Bandit ride. He killed him with consistency that year. He was the only driver to score double-digit figures in the top 5 category, and he scored 5 more top 10s than anybody else in the division. In his rearview mirror by 150 points were Kelly Moore and near Hall of Famers Andy Santerre, Dick McCabe, and Bobby Dragon. Pretty good company. Interestingly, that season followed the '93 campaign, in which he also went winless, but scored the ACT Main State Championship without a win, beating the likes of Ralph Nason, Jeff Taylor, Mike Rowe. Speaks for itself. Dale got the call in the middle of the '97 season to replace the injured Jeff Purvis aboard the James Finch number 4 Chevrolet in the NASCAR Busch Series on the National Tour. He wowed the NASCAR world with top 5 finishes at Nazareth, at South Boston, and at Gateway. And it was that show at South Boston that really put him on the map. He started 16th and drove all the way up through the field to battle fellow near Hall of Famer Randy LaJoie for the win. Dale had the lead off turn 4, but Randy beat him by just a few inches. And just 24 hours after that, Dale was in victory lane in Maine, about 1,500 miles north, with a Busch North win. But Dale, I have to ask you, of all the times when you could have roughed a guy up, why didn't you rough up LaJoie? That was the one chance you had to be the hero. Oh, what a disappointment. He made up for it, trust me. There was a finger-pointing contest in Victory Lane at Thunder Road with Dennis Demers that I remember very fondly. Dale has been a professional, in spite of all that, has been a professional in every sense, and it shows in the corporate marketing partners that he had on his race cars. Think about this: Budweiser, Ocean Spray, E.J. Prescott, Skoal and U.S. Tobacco, Cumberland Farms, Fisher Snowplows, Precision JLM, and the iconic GOD transportation scheme. on the Bush North scene in the early 2000s. And now these days with Bar Harbor Bank and Trust on his son's cars. Dale won the Street Stock Oktoberfest for some reason at Lee, USA in 1989, and a dozen years later at the same track he won the first race ever held for the Pass North Super Late models. He joined Pass full-time in 2003 and finished third in points, but his crowning achievement with that series came on September 16th, 2006, when he won the 150-lapper at White Mountain Motorsports Park, just 90 minutes after his son, DJ, won the track's late model championship as a rookie at age 16. Dale ran a handful of ACT races in 2004. He won at Oxford, no surprise. He ran part-time with the Pass Modifieds, winning at Beech Ridge and White Mountain. He dabbled at Oxford with his own Pro Stock, winning a race in 2013, and then we kind of didn't see him for a while. So let's talk about Dale Shaw race cars. A little chassis shop up in Conway, New Hampshire. His customer list reads like a who's who of the region, and while there may be no accurate way to count the victories and the championships that his cars have accumulated, it's a safe assumption that every track and every series in New England and Eastern Canada has seen a Dale Shaw's race car chassis in victory lane, totaling hundreds and hundreds of wins without exaggeration. Think about the amount of wins by the drivers like Joey DeWiron, Caden Fisher, Tommy Carey, Chris Pelkey, Jimmy Renfrew, Casey Beatty, Jesse Switzer, Jimmy Hebert, and that's just this year. He also provided rides over the years for Reggie Ruggiero, Morgan Shepherd, and even Dale Earnhardt. But arguably his most notable accomplishments have come with his son DJ, who last week became a 6-time Pass champion and a 2-time Pass national champion. DJ is also a 2-time ACT champion. And just yesterday, like I said at Seekonk, Gabe Brown, who might as well be a Shaw kid, won the championship. He beat DJ. They went 1-2 last year with DJ on top, 1-2 yesterday with Gabe winning his first title. Gabe's also got a championship on the Granite State Pro Stock Series in Shaw equipment. That proves over and over that the best stock cars in the Northeast come out of Conway, New Hampshire, and Dale Shaw race cars. And the one behind it all is now a New England Auto Racing Hall of Famer. Congratulations, Dale Shaw.
Thank you, Peter Daniels, for talking for so long so I don't have to. I appreciate that. I got one confession to make from that first year that Brian Brooks drove my race car. It was actually a report card related why I did not drive that year. My dad said, try a little harder next year, maybe we'll let you race. So definitely everybody has to have a good woman behind them. Without my wife behind me, Stephanie, she's done everything for me. I'm fortunate enough to come from old school enough that she took over where my mother left off, and I definitely appreciate it. Couldn't do it without her. And I get to live my dream now through Gabe and my son DJ. They do all the hard work. All I do is the work that they don't want to do now. And they win a lot more races than me. I'm really honored to be here, and I'm really nervous, so I'm going to call it at that. Thank you very much.